Guys, welcome to another video of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Last time around I did make a reaction to the trailer and the overview, but today I'm gonna have a deeper breakdown of the DLC, whether or not it's coming to the Switch 1 or not, because we know it's a Switch 2 edition game. So let's jump right into it. Let's just react to this again and let's see what I think about it. Right off the bat, something I missed the first time around is the talking flower has a different voice.
Is coming to the Flower Kingdom in Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
And the block this is
Switch
like
2 edition.
a longer
Plus,
question
meet up in Bellabel
mark block.
Park.
Alright, let's see what they're getting into.
A large plaza has been discovered in the Flower Kingdom.
I'm just gonna
Bellabel Park.
go on 2x speed though.
Here, you can enjoy a variety of attractions that let you team up with or work against friends and family. Let's go over some of the things you can do.
Alright, so they got new content, new mini games. Kind of like how Super Mario
Don't miss your chance
Party
to get rich. Whoever has the
had
most
it.
lives at the end wins. Use items to duke it out. Dodge attacks and try to survive.
So far from the visuals, it does look like a Switch 1 game still. Even though this is a Switch 2 edition game, it still looks like a Switch 1 game, maybe aside from the resolution upscaling to 4K, but the textures and everything is still pretty much like a Switch 1.
Run and hide and tag. If you're tagged, you're it.
And this is a Switch 2 exclusive,
Work together to relay. Pass the bomb to each other so it doesn't explode
Switch
before
2
you use the ball.
exclusive
Work together to get
DLC or
Press donut blocks while your friends run
game. It's called Switch 2 Edition. When you hear that, you know it's only coming on the Switch
Jump
2.
in time and the lift will rise. Get in sync. Then 1, 2, 3,
A bit
jump.
unfortunate.
Plus, there are so many other attractions to enjoy. Grab your friends and family for multiplayer fun in Bellabel Park.
Okay, maybe they could make an argument that this is the main reason why they only will release on the Switch 2. It's not 100% confirmed yet that it will come on Switch 1, but from what it looks like, it's called a Switch 2 edition, just like how they called New Super Mario Bros. U, New Super Mario Bros. U Switch 2 edition. And they did not make a Switch 1 version of it. Like, they didn't give Peachette to Switch 1 on Wii U, unfortunately. But as you can see, it looks like it will have voice chat, probably.
Grab your friends and family for
See, actually, I don't know. Is that voice chat? Maybe. Another difference is there's Rosalina somewhere. I saw somewhere in the comments they saw Rosalina. You know, Rosalina is an additional character, so it's kind of like how, what is it, Peachette and Toadette was an addition to New Super Mario Bros. U, but only exclusively for the Switch 2 edition, and it never came for the Wii U. Well, probably because the Switch 1 sold more consoles overall.
And family for multiplayer fun in Bellabel Park. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
Listen to this carefully. Nintendo Switch 2 edition adds other.
The Nintendo Switch 2 edition adds other new content as well. Look forward to more on that in the future.
Other new content as well. This is a very decisive statement. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition adds other content as well. So they're really doubling down on exclusivity on the Switch 2. Despite this game being a Switch 1 game that came out not too long ago.
Super Mario Bros.
They're kind of giving it like the deluxe treatment. This whole thing kind of started with the New Super Mario Bros. U edition and New Super Mario Bros. U Switch 2 edition with Peachette and Toadette, and then you also had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Brothers Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 edition.
But granted, Mario Kart, but the thing is, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was very different. It was let me just say, it did add a lot of content, and they did add more content in the future through DLC. And it had a very fundamental change to the, well, not really. They added a second item box. But this is unfortunate.
Spring.
Don't tell me the excuse of not releasing the DLC, Bellabel Park DLC, is because of this talking flower voice change. They could easily update the voice through an update on the Switch 1. But yeah, this is what we got for this trailer. Like this last bit of the trailer, most replayed part, it's very decisive that it will only come on the Switch 1. So yeah, so my first point is it appears and looks the same as Switch 1. This game came out not too long ago. It came out I think late 2023. It's not even that old. It's just a year old. Probably they'll add a voice chat feature for Wonder DLC, and that'll be their excuse of why it's only a Switch 2 edition. I get it. Switch 2 just came out, and they have to promote their new hardware. But the thing is, as of late, I think Nintendo stock isn't doing that great because we had memory shortages. You know, as of recently, Micron Technologies, their child company Crucial, will stop making memory for like the general consumers, and because they're trying to save all that memory, and other companies want to save GPU power for or GPU hardware for like AI, because that's been really hot lately. But yeah, you can see here, let's see the 1 year forecast here. It's been down 6 months, still down. And if you look at 1 year, pretty much down. 5 years, look at that dip right there. So we peaked in like November of 2025, and then we dipped here, but that's because of the memory shortages, you know, which also warrants the question, will there be a potential price increase for Switch 2 cartridges? Probably. Same with Switch 1. So gaming's not going to be that cheap. It's going to be more expensive. Hardware might be more expensive since Nvidia also announced they're not going to make any more, like they're going to reduce their production of GPUs for the next generation so they could save it for AI database centers. It's a pretty rough time in the gaming industry. Also, another point I'd like to make, Switch 2 did not have that many games at launch. Like, they had Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza not too long after, and now we have Metroid Prime 4. Those are the 3 games that come to the top of my head. You know, AAA titles, as you may call them. But yeah, not many games at launch. What else we got? Super Mario Bros. Wonder, when it first came out, had over 16 million copies sold. Yeah. So it's Wonder DLC is coming in spring of 2026, and this is like right now I'm recording the end of December, so it's right around the corner. But another factor you need to consider is, I don't think this would be a good idea, because like, it's not a good idea to only have a Switch 2 edition, because the Switch 2 just came out. Even though the Switch 2 had record sales, it's the fastest selling Nintendo console ever, it's still way too early. Like, Switch 2 only, as you can see here, it only sold over 10 million units, while Switch 2 has 154 million units. And this number could be higher. Maybe it could be double, triple, quadruple. It should be right now, but because of how the economy is playing out right now, gaming has become expensive, livelihood has become expensive, so not a lot of people want to shell out like more than $400 for like a Switch 2, like $400 US. I don't know, the Canadian price is like something like 600, something crazy like that. Yeah, and like as of lately, I've seen in the stores like Switch 2 games cost, and Switch 2 games, I saw Jamboree TV cost like 115 Canadian dollars prior to tax, which is crazy. And that's the Jamboree DLC. See, that's another thing. They kind of did the same thing with Jamboree. But that's because they wanted to add the voice chat feature, and they had some new mini games, and the camera. What else we got? Yeah, memory shortages. Nintendo shares take a tumble amid renewed chip shortages. Yeah, it's not a good time in gaming. It's becoming more expensive. It's becoming more expensive for the consumer to buy more games or new hardware. And I mean, if Nintendo wants to, like, I guess try to reduce the loss here as of late because of the memory shortages, they can, one way to do that is increase their profit. How? Well, they have 154 million units sold for the Switch 1 compared to 10 million. So what they could do is just release Wonder DLC and all the new content for Switch 1 users, minus the voice chat and the camera feature. Okay? Because this DLC looks like it would run on a Switch 1 perfectly fine. Like, there's absolutely no reason I don't see this coming for the Switch 1. Other than they want to promote the Switch 2 really that hard. Which is fair. If they want to promote the Switch 2, they can. But the thing is, they're doing this at the expense of Switch 1 games. Like, this, like, doing it at the expense of a previous generation game is something that happens rarely. Maybe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and New Super Mario Bros. U has done something like that. But it all started from there. Like, most of the time, even in the Switch 1 era, like, this transitional period between the previous gen to current gen wasn't as aggressive, and somehow we're okay with it. Somehow we're like, just take it, I guess, because Nintendo fans will just buy anything. Well, unfortunately, that may be the reality. But at least some of us actually have a brain, you know? Another point I wanted to make was, yeah, like, if they want to increase their profits, most of their profits comes from software sales, not hardware. Because when they sell the hardware, like the new Switch 2, they're not making much hardware. People like to make excuses. The Switch 2 is expensive. Yes, it's definitely more expensive than the Switch 1. But it's also way more powerful than the Switch 1. And it's definitely a lot newer. It's a lot newer system. Like, it's been, what, 7 years since the Switch 1 came out? And the Switch 2 performs like a PS4 Pro. Still kind of disappointing, but that's how Nintendo really is every generation. They're always lagging behind in performance. But hopefully the Switch 2 just has enough power to have a lot more innovative games in the future for the Switch 2 lineup. But yeah, the reality is people like to complain that Switch 2 is expensive. Yes, I do agree, it is expensive, but you also have to take into consideration that the hardware sales have very low profit margins. Sometimes not even a profit, because the system is a way to get the consumer's foot into the door, because most of their sales are made from software and, yeah, like game sales. So it only logically makes sense if they want to maximize profits and also satisfy their shareholders, which I'm sure Nintendo would love to do that, you know. They should also consider making a Switch 1 version of the DLC, since we have 154 million units sold compared to 10 million for the Switch 2. And it's just, I think, a little bit too early for this transition period to fully jump on board to the Switch 2. You gotta give it a year or two. I'm pretty sure Switch 2 is gonna sell very fast in the year or two. Like, it's gonna probably double or triple or even quadruple its numbers. Okay, there's no doubt about that. But you know, you should also make your shareholders satisfied too. You know, it's a win-win situation. If you release the DLC, you know, on Switch 1, then shareholders will benefit, and also the consumers too. Because right now is a tough time too. Not everyone's gonna shell out $600 for like a Switch 2. You know, you gotta give it some time, and yeah, it's a missed opportunity too, because it's the holiday seasons, Christmas is around the corner, and their Black Friday sales weren't that great. The PS5 absolutely demolished the Switch 2 in sales. PS5 just absolutely demolished, there's no doubt about that. You know, they need to step up with their Black Friday deals too. So, I mean, it's Nintendo's right. It's their IP. They could do whatever they want to do. But I'm just talking from a very logical perspective. You can still satisfy consumers while also satisfying... In fact, it would benefit shareholders more if you release the Switch 1 edition of the DLC. Like, why would you? It's a win-win situation. Why would you not do that? Yeah, I think that's like kind of like my rant here. Let me know what you think in the comments if you agree. And let me see what tabs I have opened here. 10 million units. Blah blah blah. Okay, Jamboree did have a lot of sales, especially the DLC, debuting #1 in Japan and UK, selling millions of copies. I guess another reason why they don't want to release it for the Switch 1 is because Jamboree TV did really well in Japan and UK. Maybe they have super fans there of Nintendo, so they'll buy whatever they see. That's unfortunate. For consumers, not for Nintendo, but consumers as a whole. Consumer sales 2025 in 2025 showed surprising resilience, with overall growth exceeding initial cautious forecasts. Okay, consumer sales are still up despite the economy and tariffs and everything, but still, this number could have been higher. I think that's my rant here. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this Wonder DLC situation, whether it should come on the Switch 1 or just remain on the Switch 2. Cause the Switch 1, like, this game originally came on the Switch 1, and the thing I noticed from the past generations is Switch 2, I mean the Switch 1 didn't completely overshadow the Wii U, you know? Like, if they're gonna push their new console, they're gonna introduce new games for the console rather than using existing software or games from the previous generation. They've done it very scarcely, like New Super Mario Bros. U and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, but that's pretty much it. I feel like this generation's a bit more aggressive overall. But that's gonna be it for now. And I do plan on having a New Super Mario Bros. Gameplay video of Ice Worlds because, you know, it's kind of the end of December now, and I do like Ice Worlds. Ice Worlds are peak, so do expect a video of that. Take care.